Hello vinyl community, it's me Martin back again. Hello, hope you're all coping, managing with whatever situation you are in. I haven't got a hat on today. This is my long overdue, touching my face, I'm supposed to do that. This is my long overdue vinyl tag video for 2020, and there was probably about 3 vinyl tags doing the rounds, I think, and I've done 2 of them. So it could be quite a long video, I don't know, depends how long I ramble on. Right, so first set of 20 questions started with the sexiest album cover, of which not Throbbing Gristle, if you know that particular cover. I won't be showing that, you'll be pleased to know. I'm going to be showing this, Sabrina, her album, and obviously has Boys Summertime Love on it, but it also has, I noticed, My Sharona. Lady Marmalade, yes, a topical My Sharona. What else did it have? Do You Think I'm Sexy, Rod Stewart? Yeah, Oh Kiss, I think that might be the Prince song. I don't know. Anyway, so that's the first question. It's only taken maybe 2 minutes. Okay, scariest album cover. Well, it could have been this, which I find slightly disturbing. I don't know about you. This is 2 guys playing organs and keyboards. I think I've shown it before, but it's quite bad. But let me think. John Downing, 6-inch pianist, said once that he went to a house to get some records and he didn't hang around there very long. There was a lot of things with too many legs and lots of things with no legs. And one of them I'm not particularly keen on, so I will show Yes Relayer. And oh yeah, you can just see it creeping there. And there it is there. One of those. That is the only Yes album I have, I think, but I'm not a big fan of those. This is my favourite label. Couldn't really think of much to show, to be honest with you. So it's Melodia, the Soviet Union label, and here is to show it upside down or something. There it is. And that's quite a fun label, really, because you can buy something and not know what on earth you're getting because you don't, I don't speak any Russian. But it's interesting to try, especially if it turns up for £1, £1. An album Bobby Gass would like, but you don't like. Not really that familiar with Bobby Gass. Seen a few of his videos, but I thought I would give it a go anyway. I went for Who's That Girl, and I was very much into Madonna. Not really now. I think probably the last album I bought of hers was the one with Hung Up on it. This, when it came out, I went to see the film at the time. This was 1987. It was a bit of a huge disappointment, to be honest. Look at her eyebrows there, way out of control. Yeah, I mean, it only has 4 Madonna songs on it anyway, as it goes. Who's That Girl? Causing a Commotion, The Look of Love, and Can't Stop, and that is it. So that is something for Bobby. Next question, was it soundtrack? Soundtrack or compilation? I don't know. I went for this. Trainspotting, just because it's a good soundtrack. There's a poster in here as well of it, actually. I must have got at the time or something. Not much to say about that, really. An album with someone wearing a diaper loincloth or underwear. This one is a picture disc. Jenny Saville, I think, is the artist. not particularly au fait with her work. It doesn't say actually, but the name rings a bell anyway. Right, I don't really have any. Well, I don't think I have a favourite album of 2019, but this came out in 2018, and I bought it last year. So this is Anna von Housewolf, a Swedish organist singer, and on this album she enlists the help of somebody from. Just trying to remember what the name of the band is now. Sun O, I think. Well, it's definitely more atmospheric and extra sounds than her usual just sort of straight organ work. A signed album. I've got Robert Forster here, Songs to Play from 2015, and I went to see a gig with him and picked up the album. Did a competition to it actually, of which Vinyl Richie ended up with a copy. And up here, this was actually, we went to see it in a very small room, and this I asked him, could he like draw on the back something that reminded him of this particular gig, and he went for that. You may well be wondering what that is. That is actually the light hanging down from this one single plain room with chairs lined up, and he just did a great acoustic set of some of these songs, and go-betweens and other stuff to Martin. Right, an album I would like is Wrecked or Scratched or something. What is it? Well, I didn't answer favourite Ramones album because I don't have any Ramones albums. Yeah, most beat album. Did have something else, but I didn't get it. This is Blood Wind Pig. Getting to this, of which this guy here, Andy Pyle, is my second cousin, I think, and he also played on Gary Moore Still Got the Blues album, and I think he was in the Kinks for a while. I think he was in, well, look it up, I can't remember now, but was he maybe in Wishbone Ash, I think, for a while as well. So there's Mick Abrahams there. Don't know the other two guys. Someone called Ron Berg, I think. Yeah, so that's my yeah, I could do with a new copy of that really. I just picked it up second hand absolutely years ago. Oh dear, coughing. Where are we? An album with a felon. This was very difficult. I couldn't think of anything. Went through a lot of things. Here is presumably this is the same guy here, like a before and after sort of thing. So this is The Amazing Grace of God, and this guy here called Jack Ward. And some of it is like his testimony or conversion or whatever you want to call it. And there's also some other artists on there singing and stuff. Right, 4 artists that are dead, was it? Oh, an album with 3 or more dead members. This was an even more difficult question to answer. And in the end, I plumped for a classical compilation, which has Wagner, Bruch, Berlowitz or Berlois, however you want to say it, Vaughan Williams, Smetana, Offenbach, Johann Strauss. As far as I know, none of them are no longer. Sorry, all of them are no longer with us. Right. A funny album that always makes you laugh. Well, it has to be Percy Frower, A Good Guide to Gardening. Always makes me laugh. An album you bought because of a VC member, Derek Higgins. A lot of people always go for Lord of the Rings by Bo Hansen, so I went for A Magician's Hat. Beautiful cover. Whoever did that, and there he is on the back of his organ. Yeah, it's pretty good to be honest. I mean, I don't regret getting that, and I'm sure Lord of the Rings will turn up cheap somewhere. So next one, Nudity, an album with nudity on the cover. This is called Chocolate and Cheese, and it's by Ween. so you get a bit of nudity there, about an inch or so, and then you get a lot more on the back. Plenty of nudity all round for everybody. An album with a motorcycle on the cover. I couldn't find anything. So the closest I could get was a moped on the cover, or is that the correct word for a scooter? A scooter on the cover. And this is Sahu Quadrophenia, of which I remember my mate at the time, late teens, he got one of these sort of coats. And I don't remember whether he put the Who on the back, but he walked around with it anyway, like that, big dirty coat like that. VC channel you wish would go away. Oh, oops, I didn't go there. So really, don't want to name any names. No, I'm not going to. But I think if somebody has a channel and it's just one particular genre of music, dare I say metal, actually, yeah, probably. But if somebody just shows one genre of music, because I suppose they're so much into it, then fair enough. But I'm not really very interested in seeing just one genre of music. But then I've got so much different stuff that I'm the complete opposite, I suppose. I'm the antithesis of one genre VC music channels. That's a really good answer, I think. Anyway, right, on to the second batch of 20 questions. So we've done a best find, that came up again. That did favourite album. Oh no, I didn't. No, yeah, I've done both of them. Right, number 3, a novelty record. Some of the songs on here are absolutely terrible. This is a double album from 1989, obviously, and they are football songs. Not hit football songs, it would have to be said, not known football songs, because in Britain we have quite a tradition of that sort of FA Cup final songs, or I don't know, Anfield rap or something, for example. Which, having that said, it's not actually that bad. But these songs are awful. They're smaller football teams, of which, of my time back in the day, I was more into local clubs and stuff. And it's got a book with it, I think, as well. There we go, magazine. It used to sort of be known a little bit when you went to a game and they had fanzines. Very specific humour for football fans of a particular team, I would say. A homage cover. Well, I think this is a homage to Blue Note. And it says on there, to my man Toshi. Stay in effect, keep the vibe going. Peace and thanks from Guru. And I picked this up, I think, in Record and Tape Exchange in Notting Hill in London for nothing. Virtually nothing, I don't think. So, obviously, London, I suppose people just drop records off and, DJs or journalists or whatever. Well, you do sometimes see other stuff around that you know has come from somewhere, or a really, a collector or something. So, yeah, it's a good album, and I think that is Blue Note. Just have a look at the label. The label's a homage as well. I don't know. No, it's not. It just says Chrysalis. And even that label might be some sort of like promo label or something. Oh, well, maybe it's just an American label. Right, the next question was a B-side. So this is David Bowie. On the A side, it's got I'd Rather Be High, Venetian Mix, and an edited version of the B side. And the A side is a track called Love Is Lost, and it's about 15 minutes long, 2013. I don't have a huge amount of David Bowie, but I was at a final night and someone had this and played it, so I just ordered it off the internet. Yeah, we've sort of stopped our vinyl nights in the pub, just due to a bit of a lack of interest, I think, and obviously it wouldn't have happened now anyway. So number 6, something funky. I'm not that funky a person at all. I'm not into funkadelic or that kind of vibe. So what I could come up with was Beastie Boys, Check Your Head. I think that's pretty funky. White, funky. For weird shelf buddies, it's always going to be, although I suppose the two genres in my shelves, they sit next to each other for a reason. It's going to be rap and jazz. So with that in mind, I've got Malcolm McLaren on one end of my rap section, not particularly big rap section, maybe like half a cube, maybe half a cube, if you know what I'm talking about, that language. And then the jazz one that said, well, my jazz isn't really in an order. I've got Night Train, Oscar Peterson Trio. Okay, something to do with a gig now, wasn't it? Oh, I Was There, a band I've seen. Could have had Metallica 1992 October when I went to see them on their Black album tour, but I plumped for REM, New Adventures in Hi-Fi. This is from 1996, and around about that time they did a gig. They did a summer weekend in Milton Keynes in the bowl where they no longer do gigs. And ironically, the traffic afterwards was horrendous, absolutely horrendous, trying to get away from this place. Maybe that's why they don't do gigs there anymore. It's sort of just like a low amphitheatre sort of thing. And ironically, it was like REM, Everybody Hurts video. Traffic took ages to get away. I can't even remember. There was 4 bands each. So it was REM both days. I think we went both days. I'm not sure. Or some mates went one day and I went another. And the other bands were, I think, something like Cranberries, Sleeper, and someone else. Right, discography of one band that I own, number 10. I've virtually got everything that they've done. If you know me, you thought maybe it would be the Church, but the Church, I haven't got so much stuff after around about 2002. So I went for Concrete Blonde. So it's our first album. It's an American trio. Punk, went more into goth sort of rock, I guess you could say. This is 1986 on IRS. Then we've got 1989, is that? Free. Then we've got probably their biggest, most famous known album, Mr. Hall of Fame. Got a copy of this, I think, eventually. It's been reissued, and this is 1990. And then we've got Walking in London from 92. And then this is just a tracks from 92 with tracks from their earlier albums. And couldn't get this at the time on vinyl. I've no idea if it's out on vinyl, but I'm not that fussed. This is 1993, and this is called Mexican Moon. And then they had a long hiatus. 2002, Group Therapy, and I think maybe they've done one album since, and they don't appear to tour or anything now. So, right, pre-band Famous. This could easily have been the comedy record, I'm sorry to say. So as I said, I was very into Madonna, and this is probably one of the worst records ever made, I think. In fact, there's more than one worst record. It's Madonna. It's called In the Beginning. So this was, I think she went to Paris or went to London or somewhere in Europe anyway, and met this German Otto van Werner. Yeah, and there's 3 tracks. If you look them up on YouTube, you'll see how bad they are. His sort of voice, I mean, it's 80s, mid-80s production, I suppose. Wild Dancing, Cosmic Climb, and We Are the Gods, and they are all terrible. So much so, I think Madonna tried to get this banned or to stop the release of it. Look at that quality. Oh, there's an interview on there as well, I think. Is it? Yeah, there's an interview with her as well on one record. Yeah, on that one. And then this one's the label on Receiver Records, 1987. They've obviously done like sort of earlier before her first album, which was 84, I think. Okay, music book I'd recommend. I've mentioned this before in the past. A mate that I do radio with on a local station, internet station. He helped compile this with Johnny Trunk, and it's all flexi discs. This is just the pictures of them all, and I actually got a download of them as well from Johnny Trunk's website. There we go. All very British, I think, most of them. Wise birds have oil-fired nests. Yeah, so I've heard some of them, and some of them are quite bad. Underrated album. Was going to go Second Coming Stone Roses, but changed my mind. And I went for Gold Against the Soul. In a way, this is sort of a bit like Volume 2, or I suppose because it was a double, Volume 3 of Generation Terrorists. I just think it's a really good album, and what they're singing about, subject matter. It spawned quite a few hits, from Despair to Where, Life Becoming a Landslide, Roses in the Hospital, La Tristeza Diuera, Scream to a Sigh. I mean, I would listen to this, and I don't really think there's not that. Maybe 1 or 2 weak tracks on there, but not much. Pardon me. Next one would be Batting Average. I presume this was supposed to be 3 albums because that's what I've got here. So I would go Tuomas Holopainen because he's done 3 albums here, but from around about the same period of time that they're all very different, completely different, but sort of show off his songwriting skills and compositioning. So Nightwish's latest album at the moment, although they have a new one coming out, this is Endless Forms Most Beautiful. I suspect their new album will be similar sort of subject matter. This is the one with the Greatest Show on Earth on it. And then, so that was 2015. And before that, the year before, oh no, sorry. Yeah, right, we've got this, which is Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. So sort of based or an imaginary soundtrack to the Don Costa comic books. And this is the last of the three. This was 2018. This is called Auri, and it's Tuomas Holopainen, his wife, Johanna Kurkela, well, anyway, something like that, and Troy Donockley, who was previously in a band called Iona, and now he's in Nightwish. He plays like various pipes and I think also like mandolin as well. It's very like gifted musician. So that I'd recommend that actually. It's a bit of a slight folky, Celtic-y trip, but it's just a really good album. Okay, this is going to be a very long video, which is what I suspected. If you're still with me, try same album, different cover. Okay, so this is Velveteen Transvision Vamp. Look at that, all those sort of moody lighting backstage before a gig. Very arty. And then I liked them so much at the time I got this, which is a picture disc of it, but I suppose it technically has a different cover. An album which is bought for cheap and now worth a lot. I bought it for whatever it was at the time, which I'm guessing would have been somewhere between £10 and £20. So this is Mars Volta, and it's called Francis the Mute. And I'm sure that this is worth probably nearing 3 figures, I would have thought, although it's got a little bit of a wear on the top. But I would have thought that's because it's triple vinyl anyway, so considerably more. You know, during this period of 2010ish, when pre-vinyl 21st century surge prices, sort of 2000 to early 2000s. I mean, I know that it went in the 90s. Album turning 20 years. Right, one I haven't got. Oh no, hang on, that's wrong. Hang on. The drummer one. The question was actually favourite drummer. Okay, so on Patti Smith Horses is a drummer called J.D. Doherty there, see? And then my probable favourite band, The Church, used him for 1992's Priest Equals Aura, because they were like sort of, I think they were like what you would term in between drummers. I'm trying to think of the guy's name now that left, and my mind has gone blank. But anyway, he left, and now it's Tim Powell's. But this particular album came out, and they presumably used him for one album. A couple of albums or a couple of things that came out 20 years ago. So I've got the Avalanches album, which I do have on CD, but never bothered getting the album on record, even though it's like reissued. So I've got these. Found them somewhere, and I think they just did them as promo or something, so they've got a different feeling. 2 Hearts in 3/4 time, Electricity album version, and Radio. And a very similar album in a way that it was like sample based is this, Kid Koala. And the final question, as we come up to the half-hour mark, was a trilogy of albums. So think these came out in this particular order, I can't remember. Codeine, Frigid Stars. Barely Real. That might be Versailles, I think, I'm not sure. And this one called The White Birch. So, hope you've enjoyed this video. Good to be back again. Haven't done a vinyl video since we had our meet-up in Bristol. And now we don't know when we're going to meet again. So I hope you enjoyed this anyway. Hello to all of you. Yeah. Comments below, please. And hello to new vinyl members. We've got Rob Ibsen, welcome, and I've seen some of his videos, and also Vinyl Dale and the Search for the Holy Grail. Yeah. Okay, thanks for watching, and bye.